Hello everyone, my name is Shaishav Surya, and let's understand what representing item profile means. And eventually, the entire aim for the content-based recommendation is to actually provide a user profile that actually emphasizes on user preferences based on two characteristics: utility matrix and feature pair values. And this vector approach may be used to compute different numbers of properties, and then for the features that are the collections of discrete value, especially. So let's take an example of representing item profiles. And one of the examples of is that at a movie which containing the cast of characters, imagine that components for each actor, considering that which one is actually indicating the actor in the film and zero indicating the actor is not in the film. Similarly, that filmmakers could have multiple distinguished features. And one of the key takeaway we need to understand and keep in mind while doing item profiling is that numerical features are another sort of feature that is difficult to represent using Boolean vectors. So now let's take one more example that is similar to the based on an upper example, but more with more components. Now we're taking cast of actors and average rating. So now consider that we consider two films which have five actors. Two of the performers appear in both the films, and one film has given to the rating of 3 out of 5, another has given 4 out of 5. And now the vectors appears is almost to be similar. However, there are endless number of extra components that can be added to it, and each of them with a zero of both the vectors, indicating all convincible actors that neither film features. And therefore, this is the examples of item profiles. Now let's understand based on that the user profiles. So it's almost similar, but a little bit have differences. Is not only do we need to make vectors that are representing things, but now we need to make vectors that actually characterizes the user preferences. That utility matrix, what we were doing in item profile, now in user profile actually depicts the relationship among users and objects. And based on that, we need to really understand more how user profiling works. And it is more like its process of extracting, integrating, identifying actual keywords of the data construct to structure a profile, and then displaying the knowledge derived from the results. And this user profiling can be done using a tailored system that actually works for the user. And in that, one of the toughest part the recommend system challenges is the characterization and ranking, and because it is actually based on individuals' interests. So let's understand using an example. And one of the examples are assume that the items are in movie and that they are representing Boolean profiles, a component that corresponds to the actors. In this, utility matrix contains one if the user has watched the film and blank otherwise. So let's say if the actress Julia Roberts appears 20% of the movies in user U, like. So what happens is that the user profile of U will have utility matrix containing of Julia Roberts as a component of 0.2. Now, well, let's elaborate that for example with more features and more components. However, that assumes that the utility matrix has entries with ratings from 1 to 5. Assume that user U offers a particular rating to that movie based on scale of 1 to 5, and Julia Roberts already have 3 films with other ratings possibly available of 3, 4, and 5. Now, the component for user in user profile will have the average value of what you who provide a rating for, which is 3, and other values which is already existing of the rating, which is 3, average 3, 3 average 4, 3 average 5, and so on. And basically similar if you wanted to do for user B on the other hand, now we already know the average of similar almost to 4. Based on that average, we can also evaluate the 3 movies staring at Julia Roberts, whether or not they are same 3 movies you rated, doesn't matter. It could be different too. And user we gives 3 film scores on 2, 3, and 5, and in that component for Julia Roberts, or the user profile for V has an aggregate of what was the average evaluated. It was 4 for Julia Roberts, and what was the scores given by V, which is 2, 4, 3, 4, average of and 5, 4, and it says the actual value comes out to